nice. Okay, so give you a different perspective, or one perspective, a point of view. Not to sugarcoat anything, as others do very well all the time. And that seems to be very popular. Yeah, judging by the numbers on my YouTube channel, or is the subscriber rate that keeps going down, which is hilarious. Not that matters. Either that's the algorithm or I don't know, it doesn't matter. Yeah, YouTube is kind of a dead energy. But anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you to those who are supporting the channel as it's being suppressed and its suppressedness. I just can't get over it. It's like a comedy, like everything else, like your galactic cult leaders that are out there right now, telling people that the end of the deep state's coming. They're going to keep saying that until they're. I guess they're going to keep saying that until they're in the grave. I'm imagine, and people keep falling for it. So, more power to you on that one. So the Galactic ground crew energy, everybody's involved with their own version of it. It's not always going to make itself clear. Somebody's here. Oh no, don't turn on the background. Don't do it. She's getting there. No, good. She went the other way. No. Stay away. No. Everything was fine until I hit record. The coast was clear. Oh, I'll be back. Sleep. Go to sleep. No. Don't mess with that. Go to sleep. No. Mm-hmm. I got you. For sure. Got her before she did anything. She's probably going to tear it down. Everything was fine before I hit record. Photobomb everything. Anyway, yeah, so the ground crew energy, some are like overly optimistic and misleading people. Oh, come on. Yeah, go away. Fuck. Just try to tear it down. Anyway. Pain in the ass. Yes, that's anyway. Where am I going at? So yeah, so some are like overly optimistic. I guess that's what some people need to hear while they live in their life of delusion. We have a predator drone here. Take down the background. Anyway, so going to a galactic update. Try to keep that a little bit. Try not to be too pessimistic about it, but you know, being a ground crew being isn't what it's cracked up to be. Well, there's a lot of waiting around. It's just like you don't even know what your mission is. You're just here to help humanity as humanity destroys itself, and loses its gender and does whatever, and you're just kind of there watching it all. It's like whatever, being called all kinds of names. Going through, cult followers are calling you names and all of that. You see how arrogant some of them are. That's freaking hilarious. Yeah, it's almost cracked up to be. Yeah, especially the cults. So you wanted to say something about it, probably best you don't, because it can be kind of psychotic. So it's better just to keep it. It's better just to keep it vague, because some of them, yeah, it can be not safe. So because they're not really there mentally already. So, but some are building up. Cult leaders are building them up to be very arrogant. And I had that in the webinar, had some of that in the past, got rid of that energy. So it's like an arrogant energy. It's something to that cult mentality. It always has to be arrogance. So something to look out for, those, especially those that are starting out and all this. But the ground crew stuff is not what it's cracked up to be. Let's put it that way. Or some already know that. So I'm kind of preaching to the choir. A lot of levels, it's not that glamorous, unless you're a new ager. Then it's very glamorous there. I guess. Well, they're lying to themselves or whatever. I don't know. They say the world's going to ascend, but at this level, it's not going anywhere. I mean, you're internally, personally, probably ascending, yes, but the rest of the collective is still, living in their own universe. So at the end of the deep state, some are feeling that, and that's like another cult leader trope, is because people want to hear it. I guess you have to see Lockheed Martin, all that stuff go down. Do you see any of that happening anytime soon? At least in your lifetime, it might happen 500 years from now or 1,000 years from now. Maybe they'll just turn into something else, though. So that's what, the world has not quite figured that part out yet, or the spiritual consciousness hasn't quite figured that out yet. Even if something dies, it just changes to something else. Religion is turning into the alien religion now, and those numbers are increasing. Yeah, it's almost getting uncomfortably increased. It's not great. It's going to get worse and worse. Yeah, we haven't seen nothing yet. Yeah, when the first alien church is built, was alien themed church. Yeah, that's our awakening, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to the ground crew energies. Whatever beings that need to come through on that. Hopefully, it's somewhat optimistic. But those of it have incarnation here, yeah, it's rough. It's got you trying to keep your sanity. Because you're kind of watching everything, and there's not much you can do. It's a mental war for sure. It's a spiritual war that you can't see. That's what makes it more complicated. Like you see, you have these alien cults there. So many of them now. It's like, jeez, it's getting worse. And like you said, there's a lot of arrogance being put into them also. So it's like weaponizing them. So they haven't gotten dangerous yet. I mean, they are dangerous, but not like attacking people yet. Well, they do verbally, but not physically. Maybe they have. I just don't know about it. I'm not trying to be the first one either. The other thing, some of them in current time. And some of the spiritual, I mentioned this before, but sometimes I have to mention it once or twice or three times about the Manson family mentality, like his people that loved him. That mentality is still here in the spiritual community, some of them in the spiritual communities. It just has that energy. It's messed us like a lost energy. It's not mentally safe. I imagine people out there run into that every once in a while. When you run into it, it's not pleasant. Let's put it that way. It's kind of psychotic. So sometimes it's better being. It's. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not gonna go into too much details there. Yeah, you can always get ambushed by it. Let's put it that way. If you go to some of these spiritual retreats and you see another side of it. So yeah, and the was it homunculus, whatever that is, homunculus. It's basically a being with big hands. It's like a little being with, I think it has a big head and big arm and big hands, because it's part of our consciousness. Or it's another word for it. A very small humanoid creatures, fully formed. There's another word. There's another. There's a meaning to it though. I researched it last week, but anyway. There's a meaning for it out there. I can't remember where it is. Anyway, we'll just pass that. Okay, let's get moving. Now, the last one might be a bust, but we'll do what we can. So I'm talking economic private sessions. We have a scheduler. We have a shop. We have a webinar. We have a social network, behind the scenes, an archive, and where is it? Here's. I guess I'll show it here. Yeah, it's kind of crazy looking. I know there's another meaning to it. I can't remember what it was. There's like a whole explanation on it. It's part of like our brain, or how we think, how we act, how we. That's kind of creepy. It's like a mythology, something like that. It's, let's see. I think there's a Wikipedia page on it. Yeah, it's just from folklore. There's anyway. All right. Anyway, we just tap into the energy of it. It's probably not a good idea to tap into that. I forget the energy on it, but anyway, we'll tap into it and just see whatever it has to say. Yeah, we'll just maybe not explain itself, and just if it has a message, we'll just go in that direction. But yeah, like I said, I mean, imagine many can relate to this, the Galactic ground crew energy. That's not as sugar coated as some would like it to be. It's of course, you see the Palladians. Some of them are manipulating energies. Of course, Arcturians do the same thing. You know, there's obviously good Palladians, bad Palladians. Of course, like the dark Palladians are part of Africa, manipulating that energy. So, yeah, it gets complicated here. Got rid of the background terrorist. She's off doing something else. Fritzy's here. Ouch. Yeah. So at least Priscilla's not tearing down the background. She's out doing something else. She'll tear it down tomorrow. So, or later today. All right. Blessings. Here we go. Blessings. Greetings. We're more of a neutral perspective. Galactic Federation, whatever names you want to give it, doesn't really matter. Well, it's basically the idea is for humanity to, yes, play itself out, to do what you must do here. And basically, alien beings incarnate here to help level out the frequencies. Because basically, this world can tilt itself over, upside down, you can say technically, out of control. So basically, it's like incarnating into like a pinball game and keeping it steady, so others can live their lives. And some of you basically kind of like sacrifice your life coming here. Like you could have a life, but instead you come here to give energies to the earth for it to evolve. It's kind of like being a priest, a nun. It's similar, it has some similarities to it. You don't have to label it in any form like that, but it's a way of looking at it. So you're giving it to the, you're just helping society grow, but in doing so, your personal life can exist or not exist at all. Obviously, some have yeah, it's clearing out the frequencies. So yeah, this is, and some of you obviously are seeing manipulations on many different levels, and you feel like it's hopeless, but you're still here. And you are, I mean, even if there's energies that you don't agree on, and those beings that are manipulating society do feel it, but they keep doing it anyway. But they do know there's opposition. Yeah, even if they do still have power over the people, they still know that they're looked upon in a negative way, and obviously they're doing a lot of deception. Of course, in their minds, they feel like they're not being deceiving when they actually are being deceiving, and so on. So just basically being here, keeping your sanity, but it's like a war, as you know, a mental war that will one day be recognized. Right now, it's being mostly ignored. Well, it's a culture war, so you have that, but the spiritual war isn't quite understood. Some of you understand it, but it's your media, you're on a higher level, always on a media level, it's not that understood. It's mostly ignored, and you don't know what you're talking about, and so on. And it's just kind of discouraging in that regard. But the idea is to continue forward. Well, just like any other war. I mean, even if you had guns in your hands, it'll still be very, you get tired after a while. Combat gets old. So at least in this regard, you can keep some kind of sanity going. You just have to find it. In whatever means necessary. Drugs is not a good idea because that can make things worse. But some drugs are all right. I can say to a certain level, but obviously you gotta be careful of that. Not everybody can relate to the situation. Somebody say they're part of the spiritual war, but they really aren't. But they are, but they're on the outskirts. Like they're not getting cannon fire like some of you are. Just another way of looking at it. So not all ETs are bad, of course. It's just that there are some that are going through their own problems like humans are going through. So it's like you have bully ETs, you have some that are loners, you have some that are just control freaks, and that's their only existence. But humans here are giving their power away so easily, and they know that's why they do it. Yes, some are alien beings, are of course parasitic beings. And they're going to do it as long as they can. Yeah, it's like a vampire. So eventually this will be more known. I mean, technically this is kind of like your mythical age, you can say. This is your folklore times. You're picking up on all these different beings. You can't see them physically, but you know that they're there, and you have drawings of them and things like that. So people aren't taking it seriously, but you are bringing that knowledge here to the realm of humanity is ignoring it. I can't ignore it forever, though. Eventually it'll be known. Blessings. Greetings is the energy of the deep state. Of course, obviously, it's a teacher. Does it care what it does? No. Those that say it's coming down or coming to an end have a lot. Obviously, there's a lot of deception there. Well, basically, the idea is for the deep state energies to open, basically, for them to be more exposed, to all the names to be known to a certain level. Not a war, but mostly just a disclosure, just like you have with your aliens. Just more. Usually it's with the names, but also locations, like you have the whole Epstein situation. That's more of what It's something to think about. Is that what that's how you heal it. If you just say the end of the deep states and it just going to have somehow disappear, that means it's still here. If it starts to reveal itself or it can't hide anymore, that's when it starts to dissolve. It's very simple. But that's, humanity still has a long ways to go in that regard. I mean, it's happening slowly, but for it to happen on a massive scale is not going to be the easiest. It has to happen slow because it can be an avalanche. It can take you out also. That's not going to do anything. I'll make things worse. So everything is done as intended to, as long as you continue, with your breathing and you're willing to do something, make some kind of change. But a lot of it is waiting around, as some of you notice. And that's the discouraging part of it. It's not going to happen fast as it can. Not when energy like this been holding on to the planet for this long. Not to say all of this deep state will be disclosed. Not likely. I mean, some of it will be disclosed, like the Bill Gates energy and Epstein's. There's more to it than that. But of course, there'll be a darkness here that will show itself. But say you can't take away its darkness, but at least it's not hiding anymore. Technically, it's doing it now. You already see that in your governments. They're just doing horrible things. They don't even care. It's just they're not saying that they're evil. As some of you like them to just might as well just say it. They usually say they're doing a good thing. They haven't got quite to the time of just saying, oh yeah, well, they're doing good, but it's really bad. They're always going to most likely say it's always a good thing that they're doing. So, but at least it becomes a little bit more as humanity becomes a little more confident in itself for darkness to reveal. Right now, it's getting there. So there's still a lot of fear there for obvious reasons. Blessings. Greetings, this is the Homunculus. We'll just call it that. Well, but the energy of this basically to heal insecurities is basically there's like a strange being in all of us, you can say. There's different ways of interpreting this type of frequency. Well, basically, it's mythical. Well, every being has a purpose of their figure, how they look, but really comes down to is how right now the anxiety within humanity is created. But basically, from what I can see, it's basically how insecure society is. It hasn't quite. It was like a deep cavern within itself. Not in everybody, but quite a few. Basically, not wanting to have its power back, or even know it even has any power. Obviously, many do feel powerless here in this reality. Of course, some of you had medieval incarnations where nothing was working. And you've had more lifetimes than that, where just like the ones that are causing difficulties here always seem to win. And you have the internet. It's obviously weaponized to a lot of levels, but basically humanity is slowly coming together. Still a lot of difficulties like within each other. It still hasn't healed just yet. There's still a war among society, different types of wars, unfortunately. You can say culture war if you want to use that title, but it's just basically it's like many aren't willing to let go, just hold on to grudges from other lifetimes. And how many people here have known each other from previous lifetimes? A great deal. And yes, the same lifetime is repeated over and over again through several of the same individuals. Eventually, society will start to realize that. Of course, they don't even recognize reincarnation at all. And that just shows what it needs to reconnect. Back in the Middle Ages time period, I was more aware of it. Your elites are aware of incarnations. And of course, society just looks the other way. Well, just allow more of your truths to come in. Doesn't mean you have all the answers, but at least you can start healing the past, which won't be easy. Of course, you go to Atlantean times, and the idea is not to repeat that. And in some ways, there is a bit of a repeat. Yeah, but with AI to a certain level. I mean, back then there was an AI frequency also, but that was to deceive, and it's here again. So technology is kind of doing similarities of Atlanteans, but you're still protected. Humans aren't as powerful as they used to be in the past, so there is a chance of winning this. Let's put it that way. Let's see.